If you'd like YouTube, welcome back to another episode. Okay, so just cleaning my protein skimmer. It's absolutely stinking, filthy, and full of gunk. A couple of reasons for this. Number one, lack of maintenance on the display. I mean, I'm only doing the bare necessities really. I clean my protein skimmer once a week now, and it's just full of gunk and it's absolutely honking. Honestly, it's just disgusting. But the other reason it's as bad as this is I stopped using filter socks well over a month ago now, and I'll explain why I stopped using the filter socks shortly. Right, so that's it, nice and clean. Get this back on and we'll get the skimmer switched back on and up and running again. So yeah, I stopped using the filter socks because I was wanting to see if that would help the clownfish start spawning again. And I'll explain what happened there later on in the video. Right, so as you can see, no filter socks. I've just got like a glass vase similar to what I use for dosing. And the sump is quite dirty. It's full of life, sponges and sea squirt type things. And it's been like this for over a month, and I was kind of hoping that this would raise my nutrients as well. Sadly, that hasn't worked. My nutrients are super low, and it's had a detrimental effect on the display, which I'll get into a bit further down the line of the video. So before we look up at the tank, I've picked up this new reactor. I was going to stick this on here, however I've decided just to leave the Deltic one for the minute, and I'll use this new one on the upgrade whenever I get that, because this thing's working fine, so I'm quite happy just leaving it as it is just now. But this will come in handy for the new tank. So, absolutely delighted. This is the first batch of eggs for at least a couple of months. I think stopping the filter socks, I've no idea if this is what caused it, but it's funny how I stopped using filter socks and then a few days later, boom, they started spawning again. So I was absolutely over the moon to see this, but I wanted to wait until the next batch to see if it would be a better clutch of eggs, because this was a very small amount. And would you believe it? It's a miracle. 3 days after the previous batch had hatched, they laid this second batch on the tile. I was absolutely over the moon and determined to try and get these hatched in the love shack. However, I waited 8 days and I thought they were ready. I took them out, put them in, but ended up losing all the babies because I took them out too early. So that was kind of a fail. But lessons learned. So, third time lucky. I'm hoping that we can get this batch of eggs hatched, but I'm going to wait until the very last minute and a bit longer than I did last time, and hopefully we can get these in the lab shack and hatched. Okay, so disaster in DMC. The Duncan coral just got too big for its current location, and what had happened was I hadn't even noticed it, that it actually fell off the rock. It just got so dense and so heavy, it fell off it, and it was lying on top of the Duncans and the Blasto for a good while, at least all night anyway. When I noticed it the next day, I picked it up, and what I'd done was I swapped it over to this location. I moved the bonsai acro to where it was, and there is a wee bit of damage in some of the polyps, but I'm hoping that the Duncan's going to recover and then set up its new home here. But yeah, so that was kind of unfortunate, but just one of those things. I should have fragged it months ago, but just kept putting it off and putting it off. As you probably know, I'm not a big fan of having frogs in my system, and the frogs I do have, I really just want to get rid of them as soon as possible. But yeah, so that's the first bit of bad news, and unfortunately it just gets worse. So stay tuned, and I'll talk about that after this little bit of footage of the tank here. So, more bad news. Because I've been neglecting the tank, I've been just busy with other hobbies. My parameters they've hit rock bottom again. The nitrate is 0, so that's causing issues in the tank. The other issue was I was using components 1, 2 and 3. And here's the thing I said I would never do is, if it's not broken, then I fix it. But I decided, I got a special deal on this product, and I thought, why not give it a bash? I'll give it a try. So Fauna Marine, really good stuff. However, what I didn't take into account was, and I don't know if it's because the Aquaforest stuff is so diluted or what, but I basically mixed this stuff up as it's meant to be mixed, put that on the system, and I never adjusted the amounts I was dosing. I just assumed it would be the same. However, it clearly isn't. That stuff, the Fauna Marine stuff, is way stronger than the Aquaforest. And what ended up happening was my alkalinity shot up to 10.9 over a space of a day or so, a couple of days. And then the end result is a lot of my SPS and a few corals have just bleached out, just with the stress of it all. And then with the super low nutrients, I'm getting a lot of the dinoflagellate type brown gunky algae again. And as you can see, that's kind of on this hydrophora here. And a lot of the SPSs, some of them are losing a bit of flesh. Some of the hardier pieces are okay. Like the table and acro, it's seriously lost its colour and browned out a big deal. A lot of the SPS have suffered big style, and the tank's looking a bit of crap now, to be honest. And this last month or so, I've been focused on training. So I've been hitting the weights. I bought a bench and some weights, and I've just been so focused in trying to get my body back into decent shape, because after my accident I just got fat and absolutely miserable with it now. So I've been working out every other day and just been so focused on that. The tank's just been put to the side, and I've just kind of neglected it. I've never tested water. It's been like at least a month, 2 months since I did a water change. But obviously when I noticed the alkalinity and things were starting to go off, I thought, what the heck's going on? I tested the water, and that's when I discovered the issues. So yeah, it's in desperate need of some TLC just to get everything back to where it should be. But I'm going to do that now, and it's just unfortunate it's got to this stage where I've actually lost a couple of corals. The lime in the sky I lost, but the majority of stuff's okay. The hardier stuff's fine. All the LPS and softies are fine. They're not bothered. A few of the hardier SPS, the Monteporas, they're okay. The Duncan, it's recovered from its fall, and it's looking great. It seems to be even happier in this location than it was on the other side. So that's really good and positive. But yeah, so the tank's not looking too good at the minute, but hopefully we can get it back. So I was just looking at my views, Ken, and 400 views in the last videos, and it's averaging about that. So I mean, I just apologise for the lack of content, but it's just I've not been motivated, Ken. Creators get motivated when they see that their videos are getting looked at, they're getting plenty of views, but this just wasn't a motivational for me, so I kind of just, the whole tank and the whole YouTube thing just got put to the side, and all I've been focusing on is just this. Just hitting the weights, trying to bulk up, trying to get my strength back, my body back to looking good. So I've been buying all these weights and dumbbells and barbells and benches and stuff like that, and this is where all my focus has been for the last 6-7 weeks. So I do apologise, and I hope to get more content out, but do you know what, I'm just going to leave it to the views. When I've hit this video, once it hits 500 likes, 500 views, I'll do another video. So you just want more videos, can show me that you want more, get the views up. I mean, 3,000 subscribers, you would expect at least to hit 1,000 views, Ken, but there just doesn't seem to be the interest anymore on the channel as it used to be. So I'm kind of I don't really feel motivated to make content as much as I did. I even tried making content daily at one point, but it's not really made any difference. So it is what it is, but that's where I'm at just now. So hopefully we can get the tank looking good again. But yep, that's it for this episode. So till the next one, bye bye.